Welcome to the Loaded Cannon. Arsenal beating Newcastle away from home 2-1 in unbelievable fashion. What a game today. Just so incident packed, so much to get through. But as ever, let's start off with some Palestinian solidarity, calling out the evil, apartheid, genocidal state of Israel. Drop a Palestinian flag in the comments below. Let everyone see how many people still care about Palestine. We're never ever going to forget about this cause. It will always be something we'll fight for, and until Palestine is free, inshallah, one day. Now, I want to start off with an apology because after everything we've been through with this Arsenal team, right at the end of this game, there I was thinking, oh, when it's not going to end well, and yeah, I apologise for that because I should have trusted this team. This team, after 83 minutes, we're losing 1-0. I should have trusted them that they're going to turn it around. I have to be honest, I didn't think it had happened, but wow, what an end to the game. Let's start with the goals, right? And then we'll talk about all the other incidents. The first goal, Mikel Merino. Honestly, this guy, remember last season when we started playing him up top? I was annoyed. I was thinking, come on, this is crazy. It's not exactly a nice brand of football, but he's effective up there. He knows what he's doing up there. He really does have sort of an understanding of where the goal is. And what a header. But the player who I think deserves a lot of credit for that as well is Declan Rice, because he got the assist for that goal. And throughout the entire game, Declan Rice, I feel like he deserves a special mention because his recovery running, his tracking back, his forward runs, he was immense today. Absolutely immense. This guy has got stamina, especially on Murphy in the second half, where Newcastle played through the Arsenal line and he was basically going to be a through on goal enforcement for Declan Rice, running back, never giving up. It's so much harder to do those runs tracking back when you know there's not a goal at the end of it for you. It's just harder to do those runs. But Declan Rice, model professional, does it so well. So yeah, I'm happy for him that he got the assist. I thought he was brilliant. And then the winner, Gabriel. And you know what? I'm not going to talk about Gabriel's goal until I talk about everything else about Gabriel in this game. It was Gabriel's game today. He was. You can't talk about the story of this game without talking about him loads. So let's talk about that first goal, where obviously he was involved as well. Mascara with an awful shin out for a corner. I mean, I don't know what that was, but I do think it was really harsh to hook him at half time. Albeit, this is when a manager is just going his way. It proved to be a really effective call, and we'll talk about that when we get to the talking about our winner. But Gabriel on the corner, absolutely awful. He was so weak, which is so strange for him because usually he's so aerially dominant. He gave Waltemada such an easy job of scoring that header. What Gabriel was doing, sort of going down like that with such minimal contact, that's not a foul. It's never a foul. It, Waltemada, yes, there's a bit of contact in his back, but that's football. Football's a contact sport. And Gabriel doing that, I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe he felt like he was out of position. He thought, oh, Baltimore's definitely getting this header. And he thought that is his best chance of maybe, the referee giving a free kick. But come on, man. Stay big, stay strong, get up there. At least obscure Waldemara's vision or something. You've got to do better than that because that is just a gamble. You can't gamble like that. So he was awful for the goal. But we know he's aerially dominant most of the time. And he had something up his sleeve to prove that right at the end of the game. But even before we get there, we have to talk about the fact that there was that penalty. There was that penalty incident where Newcastle were appealing for the handball against Gabriel. And that is a nonsense, absolute nonsense. I can't believe people were talking about that like it had any credibility to it because it's come off of his foot or his shin as he slid. Come on, let's not even waste any time on that. We all know it was never, ever a penalty. But where he did get very lucky, so that one I think that was a right decision. Where he did get very lucky was after conceding the goal, my God, he lost his head. And when Voltemada, kicked off and was just jogging up to stand in his position, Where there were like 2 or 3 players that got in his way, but Gabriel was the dumbest of the lot. What he was doing with his hand or his arm making contact in his face was awful. And I'll tell you one thing, right? We are very, very lucky that Walter Mada did not make a meal out of that. Because if he hit the deck like a sack of potatoes and he made VAR sort of get involved in that incident, I think that would have been a clear and obvious error from the referee not to spot that. And you've seen them given. Any time there's contact to the face, it can be a red card. So I would have had no complaints. Obviously, it would have been very soft, but ultimately it's dumb, and you're putting your arms or hand on an opponent's face. Like, it's just absolutely dumb. We're very, very lucky he didn't go to ground and make a meal out of it and writhe around in agony, because then he would have forced the issue. And I think Gabriel would have got a red card. Really dumb of him, and he lost his head. But he regained it. So let's talk about that, and the fact that he regained his composure, and he showed us how aerially dominant he can be because of the winner. I mean, what a brilliant header. But one player that deserves a lot of credit for that goal, and people that know football will know who exactly what I'm going to say. Put it in the comments, prove the point here. William Saliba. The way he occupied the goalkeeper, I cannot believe a Newcastle player didn't end up sort of like getting in between and taking care of Saliba, because Nick Pope was brilliant all game. I thought he pulled off some brilliant saves. If Newcastle won today, Pope would have been man of the match, and that tells you something. Arsenal were very dominant, but right at the end, William Saliba just tied him up, and Pope could not get anywhere. And if it wasn't for Saliba, I'm sure Pope, given how he was playing, gets a punch on that ball or claims that ball, but instead Gabriel was able to put it into what was basically an empty net. So Saliba, brilliant. And then that's what I was saying earlier, where it might have been harsh on Mosquera to come off. You look at Arteta, he's pulled him off. We haven't conceded in the second half, and Saliba's been really instrumental in the goal. And you just think to yourself, like, mate, listen, that's the manager who's getting it right. And he got it right today with positive substitutions, attacking substitutions. Handbrake, what handbrake? Handbrake was not even in question today. Arteta showed that ambition to win. And you know what? So did Newcastle. And that's where it cost them, because Pope tried to set up a counter-attack where we ended up scoring the goal, and it went straight to an Arsenal player. So it was a really enjoyable game to watch in the sense that two teams were trying to win that game. But now we find ourselves second in the table, 2 points behind. We've played Man United away, Liverpool away, Man City at home, Newcastle away. And this weekend, Chelsea lose, Liverpool lose, Man United lose, Tottenham draw. Just a brilliant, brilliant weekend. And now let's go to the most controversial part of the entire game today, and that is the Gyökeres penalty appeal. I cannot believe that got overturned for 2 reasons. Firstly, clear and obvious. It obviously was not clear and obvious, and therefore the VAR should never be getting involved. A lot of people have made that point, rightly so. I think that's a really annoying part of it, because it's like, they're forgetting what VAR is for, what VAR is, we've been told, is going to be implemented for. And it's just really, really frustrating to see something like that being overturned. Not to mention the fact that, of course, that's a penalty. It really winds me up that the VAR response on it was Pope played the ball. How can he play the ball when Gyökeres has got the touch and he's less than a yard away? To say someone has played the ball obviously means that they've actively got to the ball, like, not that it's just ricocheted or bounced onto them. That's not playing the ball. That's the ball hitting you. So Pope obviously didn't play the ball. And the one thing that tells you that it was a penalty was, look at Nick Pope's reaction. Not once did he appeal. He just had a resigned look on his face, like, yeah, he knew it. Gyökeres got there first. It's come off of Pope after Gyökeres' touch. I mean, think about it. In the middle of the pitch, if Lionel Messi picks up the ball, nutmegs a player, and it brushes that player's ankle as he nutmegs him, and then he takes Messi out as Messi goes round him, are you telling me that's not going to be given a foul? It's exactly the same thing here. Gyökeres has got the ball, he's put it enough past Nick Pope that even if it gets a little touch of Nick Pope, Gyökeres is still getting past him and getting onto that ball. I cannot believe. You can have a conversation about Dogso, red card, all of that sort of stuff. But come on, that's always a penalty. So I think in a way justice was served because if we had scored that penalty at that stage, if it was a red card for Nick Pope, totally different game. And yes, we got unlucky there, but we got lucky with the Gabriel one where he could have been sent off. But listen, overall, I think we definitely deserve to win the game. Let's not forget, Eze, 3 chances, 1 block, 2 really good saves by Nick Pope. Trossard hit the post. This was Arsenal's game, but we showed that we can do it, and we got a really, really important win. And man, that felt good. Up the Arsenal. See you next time. Take care.